There have been a lot of very good and very important TV shows over the years. You could make the argument that Saturday Night Live is the most important and has had the biggest impact simply looking at the list of names that have starred on the show as cast members. So, Jason Reitman, who is the son of Ivan Reitman, a very famous movie director and a movie director in his own right, directed a 2024 film called Saturday Night that covers the 90 minutes leading up to the launch of the very first episode of SNL in the 70s. And it's pretty good, so let's talk about it. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Before we get started, click on the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you know whenever I post a new piece of content. You can also follow me on Rumble. You can also follow me on X, Hometown0YT. You can also follow me on Instagram at RealHometown0. Okay, now that we've gotten the pleasantries out of the way, let's talk about Saturday Night. This is a movie that covers the 90 minutes leading up to the launch of the very first episode. Now, it's impossible to talk about SNL without talking about its cast and its impact. I'm going to start reading off some names. Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, Dana Carvey, Chevy Chase, Billy Crystal, Jane Curtin, Pete Davidson, Chris Farley, Will Ferrell, Tina Fey, Will Forte, Al Franken, Gilbert Gottfried, Christopher Guest, Bill Hader, Phil Hartman, Leslie Jones, Norm Macdonald, Dennis Miller, Tracy Morgan, Eddie Murphy, David Spade, Bill Murray, Mike Myers, Tina Fey, Martin Short, Kristen Wiig, Chris Rock, Maya Rudolph, Adam Sandler. That's just a start. That is just a start. There are famous names on that list that I did not mention. All of those people got their start on Saturday Night Live. That is an incredible list of names. Stand-up comedians, actors who would go on to become directors, actors who would go on to be in dramatic roles, actors who would go on to win Academy Awards and Emmys and Tonys. And it's just an incredible list of talent that has gone through Saturday Night Live. And we almost didn't have that show. So this movie is very interesting and unique, and I just freaking love the concept. So young actor Gabriel LaBelle, who played Sammy Fabelman in The Fabelmans, another fantastic movie that you should watch, plays young Lorne Michaels. He does a very good job as the guy that looks like he might be in over his head. He really nails that kind of like regular guy, aw shucks look that is like really, and he really just captures Lorne Michaels at this very like important and critical role, not just in his personal and professional life, but in Hollywood history, right? If that show doesn't go on at the last minute, then we never get SNL and we never get all of those great actors and all of the movies that they made. So it's kind of shot like handheld camera, following the actors around, showing the crew working on the set and the writers and trying to figure out last minute ideas. And he has this big whiteboard with sticky notes on it of different sketches that they're trying to cram in. It's very clear that if they cram all those sketches in, the show's going to go at least 3 hours long. So they wait until the last minute to start cutting things. It follows the relationships between some of the different performers on the show, the cast members, and you get some recognizable names and faces playing some other recognizable names and faces. So like, for example, Dylan O'Brien plays young Dan Aykroyd, and he doesn't, it's weird because it's like he is doing a Dan Aykroyd impression, but not trying to do a Dan Aykroyd impression. The guy who plays Chevy Chase is really good at like looking and sounding like a young Chevy Chase without it looking dumb or like he's trying too hard. So the movie really does do a good job of capturing what it must have been like with those actors and those producers and the NBC stooges trying to figure out if this thing is going to work or not. And the movie like displays a clock every now and then to show us where we are in this 90-minute time period from 9 p.m. until the show launches at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in New York. So The acting overall is really, really, really great. The blocking is like world class, incredible. Making sure everybody hits their spots on time, the camera work, the camera weaving in and out of places to make sure it's capturing all of the action going on. All of that stuff is great. LaBelle is tremendous in the role. William Dafoe is a NBC executive who may or may not be kind of a douchebag. He's maybe a little bit of both. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Yeah, it's a really great movie. If I had any critiques of it, I would say that it has its moments where it's able to slow things down. For a movie that has like a 100-minute runtime, you know, a little bit of before the 90 minutes and a little bit after the 90 minutes. For a movie at that length, it actually does have some moments where it quiets things down and then manages to have some character development. But overall, really, this is Lorne Michaels' story, and all of the other characters are just kind of there on the side. So they don't really get their time to shine as much as you would like, but that's just the nature of the beast in service of the concept of the movie. So I really like this film. I found Saturday Night to be very enjoyable. I like these kind of movies that have a unique and interesting concept and are filmed in cool ways, and this movie does exactly that. So I hope you liked the review. Hope you found it helpful. Please let me know what you think down in the comments. Make sure you, again, like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m.